does that affect my life? Do I need to know that 3,500 years ago there was bitter water in a city called Mara, and there was a certain piece of wood that was able to sweeten the water? So I'd like to offer to you the interpretation of a great rabbi called Me'or Einayim. And he brings it down to, I think, what we came to do here tonight. There was a rabbi called Rabbi Tam. Rabbi Tam, in his Sefer HaYashar, Rabbi Tam was a rabbi 1,000 years ago. He refers to this world, Olam HaTilaot, the world that is filled with troubles and bumps and upsets and difficulties. He said this world is not a luxury hotel that has all the amenities with no problems. Rabbi Tam is a realist. And he said this world is filled with problems. If anybody thinks that they came to this world for a good time and for an amusement, you're making a mistake. That's the next world. That's paradise. That's Olam Haba. Olam Haba is everything you can imagine and more. And Olam Haba is stress-free and problem-free. But this world is anything but that. It's filled with stress, and it's filled with bumps, and it's filled with difficulties. And guess what? He says, nobody is exempt. So when you see somebody walking in the street, you might not have too much in common, except one thing for sure: you both have problems. Everybody has problems. Well, some people wear it better than others. Some people are good actors and actresses, so you wouldn't know it. As a matter of fact, there was a story of a rabbi that was meeting people, I guess like a Rabbi Arush type of rabbi, and they come for advice. Well, when the rich people came, he would give them 10 minutes of his time, and when the poor guy came, he only gave him a minute. Somebody online felt that that was prejudice, and he gave the rabbi a piece of his mind. He said, even here you show favoritism? People are coming with their problems. Why does the rich guy get 10 minutes of your time, and the poor guy gets 1 minute? Is that fair? The rabbi explained and said, you have to understand, the poor guy comes, he tells me his problems immediately, I identify it, and I bless him. It's instant, it's easy. The rich man comes and I say, what's your problem? He says, I have no problems, everything's good. And it takes me 10 minutes to realize that he's just as miserable as the poor man. Because nobody likes to wear their problems, but that's what the Rabbi Tam says. It's not an easy world. So all of us that came here tonight, we came for therapy. It's group therapy. Whether you want to admit it or not. You came here because you want to feel better. Because you know that somebody's going to say something here tonight that might make tomorrow a little easier for you. It might make the next day, something will resonate. Maybe a mashal, a story, a parable, whatever it is. But just being in the presence of tzaddikim, somehow you feel a little better. Well, I think that the pasuk that I quoted actually is talking about that. Vayavo Marata, they came to the city of Mara. Mara is bitter. Everybody has something bitter in their lives. Whether it's a depression, whether it's a down, whether they're despondent about something, and it could be in any area. Whether it's their health, or whether it's their children, or their families. Everybody lives in Mara. Vayavo Marata. This world is the world called Mara. And you know what happens when your brain is trying to process all these problems? Velo yachilu lishtot mayim. You can't drink water. Water refers to Torah. Water refers to religion. How can you sit down and open a book when your mind is so preoccupied with how you're going to make a living and how you're going to raise your children and what's going to be with this? So you can't sit down, you can't pray with kavanah, you can't learn with kavanah. Velo yachlu lishtot mayim. We're unable to drink and absorb the sweet waters of Torah. And you know why? Ki marim hem. Not the waters are bitter, the people are bitter. The The water is actually very sweet. But when a person is embittered and sad, he can't taste the sweetness. Ki marim hem, the people. Vayoreu Hashem etz. So Hashem brought down an etz. I would like to say that etz could mean a tree. But a tree doesn't solve depression and bitterness and problem. Etz might come from the Hebrew word etzah. Etzah is advice. Vayoreu Hashem etz. God gives each one of us etzah tovah, good counsel and sound advice. And then vayimteku, and that sweetens the person. And as a result, he can function and drink the water. Tonight, we came for the etz. We came for that sweet advice to try to minimize and mitigate the bitterness that we all have in our lives. I would like to point out that the answer that you're going to hear tonight is actually based on one of the fundamentals that Maimonides says of our religion, the 13 principles of faith. Maimonides says a Jew must believe, Ani ma'amin, be'emunah shelema, with complete. Emunah shelema means complete faith. Shehaboreh yitbarach shemo, that the Creator, may His name be blessed, alone, asa, He has done, ve'oseh, and does, ve'yaseh, and will do, hakol. God is in control of everything. Nothing happens in this world without Borei Olam's approval. Nothing. Baal Shem Tov said not even a leaf that falls off a tree is not by the will of God. And certainly when it comes to the events of human beings, one must believe that everything is in the hands of God. Wa'asa, oseh, v'ya'aseh kol ha'ma'asim. Well, what's the advice? That's a fact. Well, the advice is based on a story that the Talmud tells us about Rabbi Akiva, the great rabbi. Rabbi Akiva went on a business trip with his students. And he had with him 3 items. He had with him his lantern, so he could learn Torah. He had with him